My name is Lara Depesh, and I'm the Vice President here at Bursch Travel. We are super excited and very lucky to have Ward with us. He is our regional manager, Windstar extraordinaire. I don't know what the official name is, but he is everything Windstar to us. So when Peg is our manager, and she's our everything Sheridan. So we have our everything Windstar, everything Sheridan, Wyoming. When she said she was going to be hosting this cruise and tour with Windstar, we knew we needed to do something a little bit different. Normally, we'll just send out a brochure, maybe an email, and people kind of know what to expect. But with Windstar, I think it's a really unique and incredible experience that not as many people are aware of. So we're very thankful to have you here tonight. If you have any questions, again, feel free to throw those in the chat, or at the end, we will open it up for additional questions. So with no further ado, I'm going to pass it over to Ward.
Lara, thank you. That was a magnificent introduction. You've just nailed it. And yeah, I don't know if I can live up to all those words, but let's do our best. So welcome, everyone. My name is Ward. I'm with Windstar. You can tell I've got a funny Australian accent. I'm a Southerner. I'm south of the equator, but I have been in the US for 15 years, believe it or not. But I'm here tonight, to run through the Windstar. I just wanted to go over our ships so you understand what we're doing out in the oceans, and then talk about the culture that we have there, and of course, what it's like on board. And then, of course, we're going to finish off with Peg's fantastic tour that she has set up for you guys. So, first thing to know is we are the smallest cruise line in the world. We only have 6 ships. We have 3 that you see on the left there. They're our sailboats, and that one on the left is the one that you'll be on for Peg's tour. That's the Windsurf. It only has 348 people, but it is the largest sailing ship in the whole world. And I'm going to show you a lovely little video just to see how that works. So point is, not many guests, so there's not a lot of crowds, and we can go to the places that the big ships simply can't get to. Just a bit of innovation here to show you how much we're invested into this industry. Is we bought those 3 motor yachts from another company you might be familiar with, Seabourn, and they only held 200 people, but we refurbed them in 2020. So what that means is all our rooms on our boats since 2020 are brand new suites and all refurbed. Every room is an ocean view. We don't have inside cabins. They're just left and right down the ship. So wherever you are on the boat, you will be looking out at the ocean. I'll move through to just talk about some of our experiences here. And this is what I just wanted to nail from the start, why we're so popular with sailors and travelers once they've, found us, if you like. This here is actually one of our fjord experiences up in Alaska area. And you can see there's some kayaks out there on the water. They're our customers. And they've just had a beautiful morning of kayaking up close to this wonderful glacier. Now, as you can see, there's no other boats in the foreground. It's really hard to get a sailing ship or any sort of ship up close to a glacier. But our captains are very, very clever, obviously, and good at their job. So what happened here on one of these particular days was the captain had just maneuvered the ship. He was watching everyone kayak. He had to take a break. He walked back out into our yacht club, which is our cafe up on the top floor. And there was 2 ladies in arms, embraced with each other, crying. And he thought, oh my gosh, what? He walked over to them and he said, ladies, do I need to go to get the ship's doctor? You're okay. And they said, no, we're totally fine. We're just crying with jubilation that you were able to get us up here. And we never thought in our lives we would have an experience or a chance to kayak next to a glacier. So these are the sort of experiences that we're working with. The captain knows the crew. Every time someone gets on our boat, they're amazed that our crew and our members know their names within the second day. It's a very unique and personal experience. So the fact that we are small means that we don't use the big companies for our sightseeing. So when we come into these ports, we're not doing mass exodus of the boat and jumping onto big motor coaches. We are actually interacting with the local operators. And for me personally, being Australian, I went down and did the Australia trip just in January. And it was so lovely for me to see the American customers coming back from these day trips. Some had been out to see the koalas and the kangaroos. Some had been down to the surf beach to see Bondi. And they were just telling these lovely stories about how they were entertained and have just laughed all day at our guides. And yeah, it really is something unique that our operators are quite, adaptive to our clients and give them very unique experiences as they come back to the boat. And just something, and we'll learn this a little bit later, we are not an all-inclusive when it comes to the sightseeing. The reason for that is all of our customers have different tastes and needs. So just be aware of that, but there's lots of options which we'll talk about with Peg for your trip as well. We talk in our market about this philosophy of vexation, which is the avoidance of annoyance. And again, only having 300 passengers, or in your case, 348 on the windsurf, we can always be free from the crowds. We can take that boat into places and ports that we can't go to. You can get individual attention with our staff and be looked after. I mentioned before that our guests are always saying, how do these people know our names already in such a short time? And they know our drink. We get back from a sightseeing tour and I walk up to the bar and they've got my watermelon spritzer all ready to go for me. It's just a lovely, intimate experience. And on the reverse of that, if you do want to be left alone, there's just plenty of space on our boats because they are big with a small number of people, if you like. So you'll always be able to find some spare time and just enjoy time on your own. Obviously, unregimentation is important for us. We know things change as we go along. So we want to be adaptive to our customers as we're going along. So freedom of travel is very, very important to us. Our dining, I always get questions about the dining. We like to say that we're definitely informal and casual. I think the cliche we use is country club casual, if you like. And look, if you want to bring your fanciest dress and your greatest suit with a bow tie, please come and do that. But if you just want to come casual after you've been kayaking or snorkeling out the back, we do ask that the gentlemen don't wear shorts and sandals to dinner, put on some jeans and some socks and shoes. But other than that, you just, an open neck shirt is totally fine, even a polo top or something. And it is designed to be casual. The other great thing about our dining is we don't have dining times. There's no restrictions on when you have to be back to the boat to eat at 6 o'clock and you've got to sit at table 14. It's all a la carte. Come as you like, dine with who you like. You might just want to dine on your own as a couple. You might have made some friends, and you can basically just eat off the menu. It's not a set menu. There's a menu for you to choose from. Even so much so, if you don't even want to ever leave your room, you can see one of our guests there in her track pants. You can do 24-hour in-room dining and never actually go to one of our restaurants on board. Now, food is a big part of our cruise line. We are the only official cruise line of the James Beard Foundation. For those who don't know what it is, it's a group of chefs, restaurateurs and critiques whose big bent in food production is farm to table. So they want to make sure you're getting fresh ingredients from the locations that you're in and they're being eaten at a very quick time. So to that point, being a small cruise line with only 300 people, we can adapt menus as we go. And very often our freezer might very well run out. So our chefs will go shopping in the port and destination that we're actually in. And if you want to tag along with them, they're quite happy for you to go along and you can choose out the asparagus and the carrots and the tomatoes or the chicken or the steak that you want. It's a great part of our interaction with our crew is very important to your experience. Just on the restaurants, I meant Amphora. This is our lunch and dinner restaurant. The menu changes daily, and you can just go in there and sit down a la carte as you like. Oh, sorry, is that a question there? No. Keep going. Yep,
fire away. I think it's good.
Okay, thank you, Lara. Yeah, so this is actually the captain's table here too. So every now and then, the captain will come down and have some guests there, which is a fun experience. Another dining option or lunch option is our Star Grill, some lovely, barbecue and brisket and turkey and chicken out here, and dining al fresco there out on the deck. And then the Veranda Cafe, open for breakfast, got a full, omelette station, every sort of pastry and European style, continental style, if you like. Then at night, so there you can, dine for breakfast, al fresco as well. But in the evening, we turn this restaurant over and it becomes a steak and seafood, very often the steak and seafood of the destination that we're in. So instead of dining inside the amphora in the restaurant, you can again be out a la carte, you know, feeling that Mediterranean breeze drifting across as you're having your lovely dinner out there. Another place to eat and dine or hang out is the Yacht Club. It is basically a 24-hour cafe, if you like, and for the early risers, just you know, cakes and pastries and things like that. And there's a little library up here, so you can do some reading and just relax. Now, our lounges, our entertainment. I do want to spend some time talking about our entertainment. We don't have a raceway. We don't have a zip line. We don't have a water slide. We have some pools, which you'll see in a moment. But the focus for us is for you to immerse with the Indigenous traditions of these ports that we're visiting. So we'll sometimes bring people on from offshore to do a show that's typical and traditional with the area that we're in. Very often we use our staff as well, because our staff are quite a quirky crew and they love to entertain. So if they've got some time, they'll pop into the lounge. And the two gentlemen on the right, the one at the top is a whiskey expert and the gentleman at the bottom is a wine expert. So if you've been in a good region for the day, he wants to come out and share some of your wines, or he might bring some own for you to taste as well. So that's a great part of our interaction. This would have to be the icon of our interaction. Now, for those out there who have been on bigger cruise ships, you might know that when you approach the navigation area or the steering part of a vessel, there's a big red sign, a big yellow, do not enter, not allowed. That won't happen on Windstar. We have a green sign that says, please come on in. The captain would love to chat. So we call it coffee with the captain or the open bridge policy. And literally, these guys are fantastic. On my Australian trip, I wasn't sleeping too well because I was on the old jet lag experience. And I spent about 45 minutes to an hour learning about all the navigational systems, how it works, how the boat works. It really is a wonderful learning experience. And for those that have some interest in nautical navigation, this is a place you want to spend some time while you're on Windstar. Now, this boat area is actually on the motor boats, so it's not your windsurf. I'll show you what your pool looks like in a bit. But what I wanted to show here was plenty of deck space on all our boats. There is always a small swimming pool and a jacuzzi you can see in the back there as well. This is one of our number one reasons why people keep coming back to our Windstar. Every one of our 6 vessels has a water sports platform, okay? So what this means, as you know, we're getting into these beautiful, special little places that other people can't go to. And I use this sort of scenario. If you've been again on a big ship, you pull into port, you wake up in the morning, you open your window and you see this beautiful blue as you see, and you thought, oh, I just can't wait to get into that water. But then you hear the announcement, everyone, we're going to be 3 to 4 hours before we get on a tender, before we get you to the shore, to get you to the water platform, into the water. That doesn't happen with us. If we're in a destination where the water's good and safe and clear and the weather's great, we'll just drop that back door open, and within minutes you can be windsurfing, you can be water skiing, you can be paddle boarding, you can be kayaking, snorkeling. If you're a scuba diver, let us know. We'll put a PADI certified diver on there to take you down. So this is a great aspect that we get a lot of great feedback for that ability to have spontaneous adventures when you're in your destinations. All of our boats have got renovated spas on board when you need that little time for pampering and relaxation. And we've got boutiques and gift stores available as well if you want some souvenirs for your trip. Now, these are just some rooms on the other boats. I'm going to show you other ones in a minute, but just want to show if people are considering other destinations that use our other boats. The Star Ocean Suite here. We've got a Star Balcony Suite here. Now, balcony for us in our standard room, and we only have 3 suites, by the way. We're very simple room categories, if you like. This is a Juliet or a French balcony, so it's not something you would sit on, but you could obviously get out and have fresh air and stand on there. Lovely renovated bathrooms, as we see there. Upgrades on our vessels. We have a Grand Owner's Suite there, which is about 1,300 square feet, which is, you know, one of the largest. And you can see there is a full balcony on that. But I will be very honest in saying we only have 2 of these upgradable rooms on our vessels. We do have 2 other upgrades, our Classic and our Deluxe Suite. But again, there's only 3 each of these on the vessels. But they're just basically bigger rooms with bigger amenities, a little dining area, and also a little living or lounge area. Now, who is our customer? And I was talking to Lara before about, you know, going on a big ship versus a small ship. And what I've found here with our Windstar customers, we've got two types. We've got a client who has been on the big ships before. They've liked that experience, but then they've found themselves on a Europe river cruise, like a riverway of about, you know, 150, maybe 200 people, 180, whatever size it is, and thought, oh, I can handle a small vessel, but they want the small ship for the ocean. And that's where Windstar comes in. So we're sort of that evolved sort of traveler. The other ones that we have are the people that have never wanted to cruise before, but someone said, yeah, you should try Windstar. And then we've had them cruise with us 27, 28, 29 times. It's one of those things where people just keep coming back to us. So, you know, just to think of those things that we're looking for, we're trying to create experience, particularly in the destination, that's basically authentic and that you won't find a similar itinerary with another cruise line. That's definitely part of our itinerary planning philosophy, if you like. Every now and then we do have solo travelers, or we know the market's big for solo travelers, so we don't want to disenfranchise them with pricing penalties, as you know, can be a part of the industry. So sometimes we do drop that down to very, very low. So for our destinations, just again to look at the world, I know we're focusing on the Riviera, the French Riviera tonight, but I just did want to do a plug for these other places. Our Tahiti program, we have a weekly program there, the Greek Isles, Canada, Alaska, Iceland, the Norway fjords up in Europe as well, very popular. Of course, San Juan, the Caribbean, Mediterranean, lots of options. Basically, we're really are a global cruise line with only 6 ships. I am always amazed how we do it, but we do manage to get around the world with all those 6 ships every 18 months. So, yeah, and here's just one to mention, the Panama Canal. Look at the skill of the driving there. I mean, you don't want to take some paint off the side of your boat as you're going through there. Australia, New Zealand, as I mentioned, my hometown. We've got some new programs in the Middle East, which is very exciting coming ahead. But right now, what I wanted to do is go into another little area here and just take a little bit of more of a deep dive on your particular ship that we're talking about, that Peg's going to be leading on. And we call this our wind class as opposed to our star class motorboats. You will be on the wind boat here, or the wind class. So as I mentioned, the windsurf here. 348 passengers, the largest sailing ship in the world, and these sails do actually unfurl and the motor goes off and you're sailing. It is a beautiful experience. I just want to play this video. Lara, will you tell me if this is not coming through your end, please?
Yep, I can hear it.
Okay.
The ceremony with the sails, when we sail from a port, we always unfurl sails, starting from the number 1 up to number 5, and then the mizzen. And we play the music 4092. So it's really a combination. You feel like sailing in an old caravel. Everything is operated by the bridge, by the officer of the watch. So it's unique. Only with Windstar you can find this. We have time for each sail, so according to the music. And the idea is by the time we finish unfurling all the sails, we finish also the music.
The sail away is something I've never really experienced before.
We could never have imagined it being quite this spectacular. Outstanding.
Something so majestic and so amazing about it.
The sails have a total surface of 21,500 square feet. They are made of Dacron. Height of the mast is 67.5 meters. So it's really a huge area, and it's possible to have under sails only. And if you can imagine almost 15,000 tons under sails only, it's a unique experience.
Watching the sails come out, it's a special time.
Yeah.
The music especially, that's even more special.
It almost took your breath away. It was fabulous.
It's the hit of the day because people are waiting for that sail away moment, and they all want to come on deck and they want to feel and hear that sound and see the sails as you're heading off into the sunset. Truly magical. It's one of the wonderful reasons you want to come on the windsurf is There's nothing like this.
With the music, with the sails, it's really emotional. The decks are always full of guests around to taking pictures, and it's a memory forever. You are discovering the world and nobody's around. You just see the land, the ship, and you feel really like a true sailing experience.
Yeah, that really gets the hair on the back of your neck going up when you're actually on there. And yeah, just watching the people as the sails come up, just coming up from down deck and getting up on top. It's a beautiful, unique experience that you don't get on many cruise lines throughout the world. So we're very proud of that part. Let's go down into a few nuts and bolts of your particular vessel. This is our standard stateroom, as you can see there. Now, all of the rooms on here are the traditional porthole. This is a very beautiful traditional sailing vessel. So you won't find your balconies on this particular vessel. It does have the portholes, but the suites are beautifully accommodated here. This is one of the spacious one as opposed to the standard stateroom. And of course, again, like the other ships, we have upgrades to the officer's suite and the bridge suite as well, but very low availability on those. One different restaurant on the windsurf for you is the Stella Bistro, a beautiful traditional. This boat's been on the water for a long time, but has still maintained its grace and its history, if you like. So it's beautiful ornamentation, I suppose, is the word for it here. Of course, our yacht club and our lounge on there as well. And the pool area, I just want to show this one differs a little bit to the motor yachts. You've actually got the two jacuzzis back here and a slightly bigger swimming pool at the back of the windsurf. So now what I'm going to do is go over to our the actual itinerary here. And Peg has chosen out a nice one for you guys. I'm really excited about this. So I'll just go top level here because you're going to go and experience the destination, but it is one of our very, very, I wouldn't say popular, but favourite tour, the Yachtsman's Harbours of the Rivieras. As you can see, you're getting Spain, France and Italy through the Riviera there. The itinerary there, I know Peg sent out that flyer that's got everything on there. It's an easy, lovely trip here. Daytime, full days as much as we can, okay? Trying to get in early and giving you as much time as we can in these destinations. So just to run through them, the Palamos, or is access to the importer region. So of course you're coming into the port here, so you're always going to have that beautiful port waterside experience. But I just want to mention a few things that are back in the hinterland, if you like. This particular region is famous for some artists, namely Salvador Dali. The museum back there is really, really fantastic to visit. And of course, for those a bit more adventurous, looking for walking tours, some of these beautiful old cobblestone, ancient medieval places are great to delve into. Wineries everywhere, of course, along the French Riviera. And if you want to go cycling to a beautiful old city called Pels up there. Sanary-sur-Mer is a classic fishing water destination, if you like. Again, just back in the hinterland of these beautiful streets and old museums and laneways. So we can help you out with some guided walks, if you like, or just walk off on your own. Also, great idea to go a bit further into the hinterland and maybe hit some of the mountain regions. So hire a car yourself, or we can, get private guides for you as we go along. Because Monte Carlo, there's not much I really need to know about this great city, but other than if you haven't been there, go and visit it. It's obviously opulent. It's wealthy. I think 30% of the occupants there are billionaires. 3 of the James Bond movies have been filmed there just because that meets the elegance, the grace of this area. Interestingly, and I'm not sure if it's still the case, but I remember when I visited, the locals weren't allowed to gamble at the casinos. And that's because they wanted all the money to come in and not go out from the locals, which is probably a very smart strategy. But also there's an old town part of Monte Carlo. So these beautiful old areas you can go to walk to or hike to, or even take a bike up through there. And again, we can arrange a variety of options there. Now my Cannes one has dropped off on me. Oh, that's a shame. I'm sorry about that. We missed the pictures there, but we know what Cannes is famous for. It's famous for their film festival, obviously, and that lovely, gorgeous beach there. So again, you'll have plenty of options to be able to explore that area. Portofino is another lovely coastal stop there on the Riviera. Again, some of the more popular excursions that people jump onto is the hike up to St. Margarita, and maybe a boat tour into the Cinque Terre area. You can just see those stunning houses set up on the side of these cliffs. It's just, it's marvelous on the eyes, and it's hard on the legs, but good way to definitely see it. Oh, I'm sorry, Portofiero's dropped out here too. My bad on this. I'm not sure how we've missed that, but I did want to just keep it brief at the top level here. And of course, finishing in Rome, or Civitavecchia, depending on how you pronounce it. My wife and I have a debate about that. She's American, I'm Australian. But nonetheless, that's obviously the port area, the old port area that we will pull into to conclude our cruise. And then obviously Rome, the beautiful city here with the Colosseum and the Vatican, definitely a place to stay. And I know Sierra, I believe, Peg, and might be a good time now, Peg, to bring you in just to talk about some of those extensions that you've got planned.
Hi, everyone. Welcome. I'm Peg Martin. And after we conclude this wonderful cruise, I do have an extension to Florence for 4 nights. I was going to go to Siena, but I was there 2 weeks ago and it was not what I thought it would be. We had a lovely time in Florence, and so we've decided to extend our trip to Florence for 4 nights, and this is an optional trip if you'd like. We will get off the ship and have private transfers to the train station in Rome, and then we will go on the train to Florence. We will stay at a hotel that's about 3 blocks from the Duomo and about 5 blocks from the train station. It's a very comfortable hotel. It's nothing extremely fancy, but it's very clean and it's in a wonderful location. We stayed there just a couple weeks ago. The staff and the service was excellent. Breakfast in the morning. I am going to plan a trip doing a market tour and cooking class. I haven't picked out which one I'm going to do yet. And like I said, this is an optional add-on, and if you want to fly home from Rome, we can arrange that too. The transfers are included. We have 2 nights in Barcelona before the cruise that's included in the pricing. And I know that there are some people that aren't here in Sheridan, Wyoming, and you can always call me and I can give you pricing from your cities and answer any questions you may have. As Ward said, we've got this great itinerary, and then we're going to do the optional extension, which would run from Florence. We would return from Florence on the 26th of August.
Very cool. That's I'm actually excited. Can I get on this one if I get some time? This is
I know,
awesome.
Peg, if nobody else joins you, Ward and I are on board. It sounds like a great trip.
My husband and I spent 3 nights in Florence a couple weeks ago, and we had both been to Florence before and seen all the museums and all the cathedrals and everything. And so we did a little bit more of a back alley tour just by ourselves and wandered the streets of Florence and found some absolutely wonderful things to explore that I'm looking really forward to sharing with everyone.
Oh, that's great.
That'll be perfect. Yeah. And I think what's great about Florence too, is it's such a good bouncing off point, right? There's a city that you can do a day trip out into the wineries. There's a day trip out to San Gimignano. There's all these different ways that you can peel off, or you could spend 4 incredible days in Florence. I don't think there's a way to do that wrong.
We learned how to ride the bus, and we learned how to ride the trains and back and forth to the airports. And it's very easy. It's kind of funny in Florence, if you want to buy a bus ticket, you have to go to a cigarette shop. And that was an experience trying to find the cigarette shops, but I know where they are from the hotel. And our host, Marco, at the hotel, I've been in touch with him since we got back, and he's really looking forward to us coming. It's a family-run hotel. And we woke up Sunday morning to all the bells of the Duomo going off on Sunday morning with our windows open, and it was just
That's
nice.
amazing.
Yeah.
Any questions that we haven't covered? Like I said, feel free to throw those in the chat if you don't want to speak up, or if you want to unmute and ask your questions. I'm going to share my screen while we wait for you to come up with those extra thoughts and just show you where you can find more information about Peg's tour. So it's just on burschtravel.com. If you go up to the top, you click on services, and then you'll see all of our exclusive groups. This is the Mediterranean Magic. It'll tell you more about the trip. There's the full brochure listed, and then obviously all of Peg's contact information. So if you don't have that, you can figure out how to get a hold of Peg at any time for more details and pricing. And just like she said, you know, if you're not living in Sheridan, that's more than okay. We can help you come together or put together flights from anywhere in the country and meet us in such a beautiful part of the world. So any questions? What are we not thinking of? Or were we just so thorough and perfect that we don't?
Florence is a truly walking city. So be prepared to walk. You're going to need to pack smart, because you will be, if you have to transfer your luggage or anything like that, you need to be able to pack smart. You need a good pair of walking shoes, which is really important in Florence because we do a lot of walking there. And like Laura said, there are a number, hundreds of different day trips that you can do out of Florence. It's so accessible to other places. You can do Siena, San Gimignano, and Pisa in one day for just around $100, and you get to go all the way through Tuscany. And I will, as we get going along, I will be sending out information about the different tours that you can do not only in Florence, but also from the ship.
Perfect. All right. Well, I think if there aren't any questions, we'll just close out the night right here. Thank you both, Peg and Ward, for spending your night with us. And for those of you who came into the office, it's good to actually even see you peeking through the side. I'm a little jealous you're enjoying a glass of wine already. That's next on my list. If you have any questions, please contact Peg Martin in our Sheridan office. You can find her information on our website at burschtravel.com. Again, thank you for joining us, and have a great night. Peg, we'll see you soon.
All right, thanks, Ward.
All right, yeah, no worries, guys. Have a great night. Cheers.